I want you to just imagine waking up every single day knowing that the most powerful people in your life, your owners, view the simple act of you learning to read as a catastrophic threat.
Not just a minor issue, but a threat.
Exactly. A danger so profound that it would, and this is a quote, ruin you as property. I mean, this was the reality of systemic control.
It's rooted in this idea that Black potential has to be actively policed.
For centuries, and you could argue even today, the fight for justice is really centered on just claiming the right to one's own mind.
And what really stands out there is that this denial, it isn't just about a lack of resources. It's a calculated act. It's psychological warfare.
Right.
If you can control a person's access to knowledge, you control their story, their past, and their future. That's why when we look at Frederick Douglass's life, that's the immediate pain point. The system denied him the most basic thing, his own birthday. He knew he was born around 1818, but that ambiguity, that identity erasure, it's a mirror image of the challenges Black youth face today when their history is suppressed.
That denial of personhood, it makes the whole journey to gain knowledge inherently revolutionary, doesn't it?
It does.
Every single fact you learn becomes an act of resistance. So it makes you think, when have you witnessed education being systemically denied or even weaponized against young Black people?
It really forces you to ask, who gets to define you?
Okay, so let's unpack this with the man who took that very threat and forged it into his greatest weapon against enslavement, Frederick Douglass.
A true giant.
Born into just brutality and separation in Maryland, his early life was defined by the kind of deprivation that was meant to crush his spirit. And yet, through sheer will, he transformed himself into one of the most powerful voices for justice in American history.
And that transformation story, it starts with this one incredibly powerful fact. Early on, when he was in Baltimore, his enslaver's wife, Sophia Auld, she actually started teaching him the alphabet.
A moment of kindness?
A brief one. Because when her husband, Hugh Auld, found out, he forbade it immediately. And his reason, his rationale is what changed everything for Douglass. He said that literacy would ruin a slave.
Make him unfit.
Exactly. Unfit, discontented.
And that one moment, which was meant to be this final act of control, it backfired. It became the foundation of his entire mission.
He wasn't scared off.
Not at all. He realized his master had just accidentally handed him the key, the essential truth about freedom. He later wrote that he understood that moment as the pathway from slavery to freedom.
The very thing meant to trap you becomes the blueprint for your escape.
Yes. It cemented his belief that the mind had to be freed before the body could ever follow.
That is just, it's an act of profound imagination, isn't it? To see that the weapon the oppressor fears most is the one you need to possess. So how might your outlook change if you saw leaders like Frederick Douglass as your blueprint?
But Douglass's intellectual liberation, it was only possible because he first had to claim his physical self. I mean, his story is full of these trials, but the flashpoint, the moment that really defined him, happened when he was a teenager.
With Edward Covey.
The slave breaker.
Yeah.
He was sent to Covey, whose whole job was to use violence and psychological manipulation to just crush the will of enslaved people.
And for months, it worked. The abuse was relentless, and Douglass was, by his own account, nearly broken, both physically and spiritually.
But then one day, after Covey tried another savage beating, something in Douglass just snapped. He hit a breaking point.
He decided he would not submit anymore.
He fought back.
And it wasn't a quick scuffle.
No, this was a grueling 2-hour fight, a painful, exhausting physical battle that basically ended in a stalemate. But Covey never laid a hand on him again after that day.
Wow. And this was about so much more than just avoiding pain.
Oh, absolutely. It was about reclaiming his personhood, his Black manhood, in a system designed to strip him of all dignity.
Exactly. That's the moment that transformed him from a slave into a man in his own eyes. It's where we get that immortal quote.
You have seen how a man was made a slave.
You shall see how a slave was made a man. That refusal to be controlled, that assertion of dignity, became the engine for the rest of his life's work.
It's fascinating how that physical resistance created the discipline for his intellectual strategy. It's like that fight taught him how to endure. So have you ever faced a single decision point that was so pivotal it just shaped your entire future? What did you learn from it?
That physical flashpoint really does provide the foundation for everything he built intellectually. And it aligns so perfectly with Marcus Garvey's framework for liberation: head, heart, and hands.
Mindset, purpose, and action.
And Douglass was a master of all three.
Okay, let's start with the head, the mindset. We know he shattered the myth of Black intellectual inferiority. But the specific discipline he used, it's incredible.
His resourcefulness is the key. He didn't just wait for an opportunity, he literally engineered it. He would trade pieces of bread for reading lessons from local white kids on the streets of Baltimore.
Wow.
And when he ran out of tutors, he would go to the shipyards and copy the letters that were marked on the timbers. He turned bread and lumber tools of commerce into tools for his own liberation.
That is such a powerful image. That kind of commitment, it takes incredible focus.
It does. And he summed up that mindset perfectly. Once you learn to read, you will be forever free, which connects right back to Garvey's idea that knowledge is power.
His enslavers were right to be afraid.
Absolutely. Mental freedom comes first.
So then, moving to the heart, his purpose, it was never just about his own freedom, was it?
Never. His mission was rooted in this fierce belief that Black lives and minds mattered. His purpose was to expose slavery and anti-Black racism as a national crisis, not just some Southern problem.
And he spoke directly to that pain of being denied the right to define your own worth.
Then you get to the hands, his concrete actions, the discipline. Douglass was an institution builder.
Yes, he was.
He understood freedom needed infrastructure. He founded Sabbath schools, so enslaved and free. Black people could learn to read in secret. This was dangerous, practical, communal empowerment.
And he didn't just write and publish. He owned the means of publication. He started his own newspaper, the North Star.
So important. That ensured Black Americans could speak for themselves, and counter the dominant white narratives.
And his autobiography, the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, that might have been his most revolutionary act. It exposed the psychological terror of slavery to the whole world.
It did. It modeled that transformation from self-doubt to self-mastery. His whole life just proves that freedom demands discipline and study.
So if his life is the blueprint, what does that mean for us right now? It demands action. I mean, do you need new ideas for the head, renewed purpose for the heart, or clearer action for the hands?
Douglass's journey is really this timeless strategy for turning systemic pain into undeniable power. And that fight to claim your own personhood through learning, that's the fight we inherit.
And it's not about just passively consuming information. It's about disciplined study, even when life is pressuring you, just like he did, risking everything to learn to read.
So the challenge here, inspired by his head and hands, is really specific. This week, identify one specific lesson or piece of knowledge you can learn, something that moves you from self-doubt to confidence.
Okay.
And then, taking the page from the North Star, immediately find a way to share that knowledge. Apply it to uplift someone in your community.
So you're making knowledge a shared tool for liberation, just like his Sabbath schools. That cultivates real resilience.
That's the core of it. So the question is, will you take this step? And who will you share that commitment with?
Frederick Douglass's journey is just this powerful reminder that Black genius is unstoppable, and that imagination, that's where liberation begins.
In the shadow of racism, Douglass really taught us that no barrier, not physical, not institutional, can block a mind that is set on freedom.
We've seen how discipline and study paved the path to power for him. Next time, we're going to meet another hero who embodied the same strategy, but with a focus on purpose as power.
Our next deep dive will feature Rosa Parks, whose quiet determination proved the incredible power of disciplined action.
So what from Frederick Douglass's journey, that relentless commitment to learn, that refusal to be defined by anyone else, what will you carry with you into tomorrow? Keep that thought close.